Hi you guys, it's Summer and welcome back to another video. Today I don't know what I will title this video, but by the time I post it it'll have a title obviously, but I just kind of wanted to do a review of the year. I feel like I've never done a sit down video with you guys. My book reviews are kind of like sit down-esque and me just yapping but I feel like I've never done one of these. So comment down below if I should do more. Maybe I'll do one every year. Towards the end of the year, we can kind of like review our years together, how the year went for us together. Let's get into today's video. So originally this video was going to be just a like January review, a review on my January, but it's obviously November and I've been writing and just obviously since the months have been going by, I was like, I'm just gonna turn this into kind of like a review of my year and talk about things that I want to really work on and how I plan to really make the most of the rest of the year, because it's already November. Can you guys believe that? It's crazy. I split this up into 4 different little categories. The first category is mindset, the second category is achieving goals, third category is social media, and fourth category is motivation. So we're going to start out obviously with mindset. I'm going to talk about how I operate, but I also want to give you guys some tips I feel like are beneficial or just helpful for each category. If you guys see me constantly looking down, I'm looking at my tablet because I've written down things that I want to include in this video. So for mindset, first and foremost, we chat about mindset, which plays an important part in your day-to-day life. I used to be super negative, not overwhelmingly negative. I would never try to be negative to other people, and some people might say, oh, I don't think you're a negative person, but I used to be way more negative. Not necessarily towards others. I would try to keep that negativity to myself. But yeah, I used to be super negative. I can still be super negative when I feel like those emotions are overtaking me. We're human, obviously, but I feel I'm definitely more positive now towards myself and others. I was never really a like you look ugly type of person, never, but I'm even more positive to other people now. Before I would vocalize negativity as opposed to now, I just think more and hardly reply when it comes to like negativity at all. And I try to be more aware of when I'm negative or when those negative thoughts are seeping in. I try to pay attention to them, but it's hard for me to pay attention to certain things because you know when you're used to it, you can easily overlook a lot. Things that helped improve that is sitting back and thinking on the impact I might have, big or little. So before speaking that negativity or even allowing those thoughts to keep occupying my mind, I just think about the impact, and that's something that always keeps me on track. Little remarks can become big remarks, and no matter big or small, they can have an impact on someone. So we should always try to think about our impact. What would the people that you're speaking about think? What this is negative thoughts about, you know, yourself. Like, let's be nicer to ourselves. If the topic is breeding negativity, I don't like to engage in it too much anyway, but if I want to say something and that contributes to the negative surrounding topic, before saying something negative or just always saying without thinking, I just ask myself, like, do I have the room to talk about that? Do I have the room to say that? Because a lot of times people don't, and you can think like, oh, I do have the room to say that, but do you really? A lot of people think like, oh, I got this on lock, so I, 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 I can say it if I want to. Like, you can't say anything about me. But that's also not a good mindset to have, you know? So you should think, do I have the room to talk? And it's not really more so of just like being like, oh, I can't say nothing because it's not even really about that either. It's just another kind of preventative measure to make sure that you are always. And if that prompt doesn't work for you, simply think about the old saying, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. A lot of people need to hear this. My mindset has definitely changed a lot this year. I feel like it's changed more this year than it did last year. I'm just constantly working on things. When I have the energy, it's hard to try working on yourself all the time. And it's a trial and error type of, situation. So it's best to just take things one at a time and slowly, because trying to change something very quickly is going to end in nothing being changed. But I'm doing way better this year. Early this year, I was doing pretty well. Then towards the middle of the year, I'm not gonna lie, things got really rough mentally. I was really struggling with a lot. And then it's the end of the year, obviously, and I'm doing way better. So I can't be more grateful. Second topic, achieving goals. So if any of you have watched me for a year, you will know that I don't do New Year's goals. So for this new year, I didn't do goals that I wanted for the whole year. Instead, I make goals every month because I forget things a lot. And seeing the goals more often helps me remember. So that's just how I function. I don't know if New Year's goals work for a lot of people. I feel like it doesn't. I just feel like it doesn't. It wouldn't ever work for me. I never try to make New Year's goals. I just always stuck with my little pattern, my little way, which is making goals every month and seeing things more often than not really help in just keeping things in my face. So if it's a goal that I need to get done, constantly keeping it in my face helps remind me that, oh, you need to get that done. So that could be helpful for those of you who find New Year's goals to be iffy or feel that making New Year's goals, you never get them accomplished. I would for one switch it up and just make goals every month. I also hear a lot that giving yourself a time frame of when the task should be done leaves you more likely to succeed in doing the task. So for me, a month is good for those tasks that I come up with. That's a pretty good time frame. Some months have 4 weeks, and each week and each day I have things to do. And so it's easier to forget if I just have a one goal or two goals for a whole year and I don't remind myself of those goals. It can get really tricky. And then I feel that it's a bit more rewarding for me to just check those things off at the end of every month. Third topic is social media. So I just want to briefly say before we really get into it that I've been struggling with social media this whole year. And I'm still struggling as we speak, but I feel like it's working itself out. As far as me struggling with social media, I mean like knowing when to get off, knowing when to divert my attention to more meaningful things. That's what I mean. But yeah, social media definitely has its pros and cons. But back in December last year, I found out that I was experiencing more cons than pros. For this reason specifically, I don't have TikTok. Everyone talks about how addicting it is and how they would get on there and be on there for multiple hours on end without realizing it. So I could go more into depth about the TikTok thing. I've never wanted TikTok. I actually had Musical.ly. Musical.ly is basically what TikTok is now. People used to do all types of things on Musical.ly, and that's why I don't know. I don't know why they changed it up. They used to dance like they do on TikTok. They used to do all types of content, anything pretty much. Musical.ly was actually kind of like an extended version of Vine. But yeah, I had Musical.ly and then I got rid of it. I never planned on getting TikTok. I have Twitter and I have Instagram. Before I had Instagram, I had Twitter. And those two are by far good enough for me. I don't need any more social media apps, especially apps that contribute to just endless scrolling. I don't need it. I just knew in my heart that I would be addicted to it. I would be on it for hours on end and I would probably not get off. And I was actually struggling with Instagram at the time. So that was another and even better reason not to get it, because I would constantly scroll on Insta. And I actually don't really like Instagram much. That I like it a little bit more now that Reels are on there. But it's very clustered and crowded to me on there. So I have to constantly take breaks. TikTok was never my thing. I will never get it. Instagram has Reels, YouTube has Shorts. Every app has their own version now. But yeah, I found myself struggling quite a bit with the apps that I already have. So I don't need to add another struggle onto the struggles that I already have. Mainly because I was editing at odd hours, my schedule with filming videos was no longer in effect, and I would just spend hours mindlessly scrolling on social media when free time presented itself. Sometimes when I was supposed to be editing, I would just be scrolling endlessly. When I had tasks to do, more important things, things of substance to, I would be, wrist was aching more, my eyes were looking more tired, and I was getting more headaches. Definitely with the more headaches. I already take quite a bit of time to edit videos. That's just normal, but with the endless scrolling, your wrist gets even more tired. And my eyes would just, I would have bags all the time. And it was just not cute. Sometimes I have a pretty decent sleep schedule, sometimes I don't. And when I'm not really implementing my days or making use of the time during the day to edit, I edit at night. And that messes things up and I end up scrolling afterwards as kind of a reward for finishing a video. I'll look up birds are chirping. But once I started doing the little turning on, it's kind of like do not disturb, but for bedtime. Everything shuts down on my tablet. On my phone, it's a little bit different. I have an Android. It helps with monitoring, well, keeping my screen time down as well as not mindlessly scrolling. So I really have been enjoying that. It's been on all year since last December, and I really enjoyed it and it's really helped me. So maybe that'll help you guys as well. My screen time has been down on my tablet for a really long time. It occasionally goes up during the day, but for the most part during night it's non-existent. For my phone, it doesn't shut down every app, it just turns everything gray, which I find funny. It turns everything gray after a certain time, so you can still do everything, freely get on each and every app, but it'll be gray. Last topic is motivation. So the thing about me is I get motivated quite often, thankfully. Even if I don't get up to do it right then, while I'm motivated, I will eventually. So I know that some people might struggle with being motivated and feeling, well, just being motivated to do things. Motivation is only 10%. If you feel motivated and never get up, then the motivation isn't really helping much. One thing about me is once I'm motivated, I try to get on up. I try to get up and use that motivated energy, that motivated mindset in its actuality right then, right there, because even though it lasts for me for quite a while, if I don't do it, I regret it and I feel really bad. And you know what? You should really use that time when you're motivated. So I was super motivated to do a certain task. I didn't get up, and then I was left feeling very upset, kind of, that I didn't use that as a kind of like stepping stone to get to somewhere else. I was left feeling really sad. So that's why I try to make the most of those feelings when I'm feeling motivated, because sometimes I have a super big urge to do something and I can get so much done, but when I don't have that surge of like energy, and I can't do it. So that's why when I get those feelings, I'm like a robot. I get motivated quite a bit, but that surge of energy with it, sometimes I don't get that. So when I have the energy and the motivation, I get the moving real quick. I can be so motivated and ready to get this certain thing done and still not do a thing, mainly because I often become overwhelmed with the thought of the task itself. That happens a lot and I hate it, but I just have to work through it. I overthink a lot, so overthinking contributes to multiple areas in my life. When I have a lot to get done, I just overthink the whole time about all the things that I have to do, the things that I have to do before I do that, the things that I have to, all of it. My mind is just going 24/7. It never stops, even when it's time to go to bed. Comment down below if you guys can relate. I can want to do something so bad with every single fiber in my body and still sit there dazedly, unfortunately. But when I feel like doing it, absolutely nothing can stop me. And I get working towards it for hours. I can just work for hours when I feel like it. I can't vocalize what that feeling feels like when I can just do absolutely everything, but when it comes, and I make use of it, because it's not an everyday thing where I can just do 3,000 tasks and multitask and do this and immediately go into that. I have to take breaks. It's weird when I'm into a zone and I'm really in it, but when I'm not, I won't do a thing. And there's no middle ground for me. Either I'm doing like 3,000 things or I'm doing nothing. There's no middle ground in between that, and it's really hard to navigate. But I just try to give myself grace and try to find a middle ground, and it's honestly almost non-existent. In order not to overwhelm myself, I space things out and give myself designated rest days, as I can't do too much in one day. If I'm lucky, but I can't. If I look at all the things I have to do for the next day and it looks too much, I start thinking about it too much as well and end up doing nothing, and that happens quite often. I recently actually changed my schedule of posting. If you guys see my YouTube comments, I make comments on YouTube that you guys can see YouTube posts. What is it? Community posts. And I told you guys, it might have been a week ago, that I'm going back to my original posting schedule, which is Thursdays and Fridays. It was Fridays and Saturdays for a good like 3 months. I just wanted to test it out. It was just like a test. Like, you have to testing and try different things out. I had never switched up my schedule for posting like that. I've been pretty consistent with it for about 2 years. So I wanted to try something new, see if I would get different traction, stuff like that. And it was pretty much the same traction, but I felt it was more accessible for you guys because a lot of people work during the week. So when I post on Thursdays, they might not be able to watch it on Thursday night or watch it on Thursday morning. And same with Fridays. Some people work on Fridays as well, so they might have not been able to watch it Friday morning or Friday night. So that's why I went to Friday and Saturday. But I think you guys are just used to Thursdays and Fridays, and I've been getting, ever since I changed back to Thursday and Friday, it hasn't been that long. I feel I've seen more progress and kind of like traction going back to my older posting schedule. So we're just back to that. Now that we're back to that, my editing days are changing, so they're going back to how they were before. That's it for today's video. Please don't forget to comment down below, of course, and also subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Turn on the post notification bell because it notifies you whenever I post a new video. And that's it for today's video. Comment down below, of course, if you guys would like to see more sit down chit chat videos. And I will see you guys in my next video. Annyeong, Peace.